Hello everyone and welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm working with a really unique and rare piece of wood. This is Rhus or Sumac. It's not a wood you come across very often. And what makes it truly special is this deep golden yellow color that runs all the way through the heartwood. Even before turning, you can already see those incredible growth rings and that natural contrast between the heartwood and the lighter sapwood. The texture of this wood is smooth, almost waxy, and it has a light, pleasant smell when you start cutting into it. I've been saving this piece for quite some time, waiting for the right project, and today I'll finally turn it into a natural edge bowl. Let's begin by mounting it between centers on the lathe so we can start shaping the outside. I'll take it slow and steady to find the best balance and reveal the beautiful natural lines hidden inside. Stay with me until the end. The color transformation and final result are really something you don't see every day. With the piece now turning smoothly on the lathe, it's time to start revealing what's hidden inside. I'm using my 16mm crown bowl gouge, a tool I trust for control and precision, especially on a wood like this. The first cuts are always exciting. You never really know what pattern or color will appear. And here, the magic starts immediately. The wood opens up with rich yellow tones and warm brown lines swirling together. Each pass of the gouge brings out more life, more texture, and more of the story that's been growing in this log for years. The shavings are bright, yellow soft, almost like golden ribbons flying through the air. It's such a satisfying moment, the sound of the gouge cutting cleanly, the scent of fresh wood, and the slow transformation from a rough log into something elegant. I'm carefully shaping the curve of the bowl, following the natural form of the wood. The goal isn't perfection, it's balance. I want the lines to flow naturally, as if the bowl had always been waiting inside this piece of wood, just waiting to be discovered. This is one of those moments where time seems to stop, just me, the lathe, and this rare piece of Rhus wood, revealing its character one cut at a time. After getting the basic shape of the bowl with a 12mm spindle gouge, it's starting to take form. You can really see the smooth curve beginning to appear. But before going any further, I need to make sure this piece stays solid. The center of the blank has a few small cracks, so I'm applying some thin cyanoacrylate glue to reinforce the fibers and stabilize the core. It only takes a few moments to set, and once it's hardened, I can safely continue turning. Now, with the surface stabilized, I go back to refining the outer shape first, using a round nose scraper to smooth out the tool marks and bring everything together. This step is all about patience, light cuts, gentle pressure, and letting the tool do the work. The form is now flowing nicely, and it's time to create the tenon for the chuck. I carefully shape it to the right size, making sure it fits perfectly for when I reverse the bowl. At this point you can really see how beautiful the shavings are coming off this wood. Each cut produces these fine curly ribbons, light, soft and golden, almost like strands of sunshine spinning off the tool. That's what makes turning Rhus wood such a joy. It's smooth, clean and surprisingly cooperative, even with its dense and fibrous texture. The colors are just mesmerizing, warm yellows blending into deeper orange tones, with darker streaks running through the grain. It's one of those woods where every pass of the gouge reveals something new, You never quite know what pattern you'll uncover next, and that's what keeps the process so exciting. Now that the outer shape looks the way I want it, I move on to sanding. I start with 120 grit, then slowly work my way through 180, 240, 320, and finally up to 400 grit. It takes time, but this step is essential. It's what gives the surface that silky, almost glass-like feel when you touch it. As the sanding progresses, the surface starts to glow, the grain becomes more pronounced, the contrast deepens, and the natural edge really begins to stand out. It's one of those quiet, almost meditative parts of wood turning, just the sound of the lathe, a bit of dust in the air, and the wood slowly coming to life under your hands. With the outside completely sanded and smooth to the touch, the piece is ready to be reversed. Next, I'll mount it in the chuck and start hollowing out the inside, and that's where the real magic begins. Now that the bowl is reversed and held firmly in the chuck, it's time to open it up and see what's hidden inside. This is the part I always look forward to, where the real character of the wood starts to reveal itself. I begin hollowing the interior using my 16mm crown ball gouge, taking light, steady cuts from the center outwards. The moment the tool touches the surface, the bright yellow shavings start to flow again, soft, warm, and full of color. Working inside the bowl feels completely different here. It's not just about shaping, it's about balance, flow, and patience. Every movement of the gouge needs to follow the natural curve of the outside, creating a perfect harmony between both sides. The deeper I go, the more alive the wood becomes. The grain shifts direction, the tones change from pale gold to deeper amber, and faint lines ripple through the heartwood like brush strokes in a painting. The sound of the tool, the smell of the fresh shavings, the vibration through the handle, it all comes together into this quiet rhythm that makes wood turning so special. There's no rush here, just steady progress, and focus one careful cut at a time, until the inside shape flows exactly the way I imagined it. For this bowl, I want the walls to be as thin and elegant as possible, light but still strong. That means these final cuts need to be precise, controlled, and smooth. To get the best possible finish, I have just resharpened my 60mm bowl gouge. The bevel angle is set to around 40 degrees, and I've also ground down the heel of the gouge slightly. That small detail makes a big difference. It allows me to follow the curve of the bowl more easily and maintain full control right to the bottom. At this stage, even the smallest vibration or wrong movement can leave a mark or change the thickness, so I take my time listening carefully to the sound of each cut and feeling how the tool glides through the fibers. The shavings are incredibly thin now, almost transparent, floating through the air like golden ribbons. It's a delicate process, one that requires patience, focus, and a light touch. But when it's done right, the result is a bowl that feels weightless, perfectly balanced, and alive with color and texture. This is the part I enjoy most, that quiet precision, where every movement matters and the final form slowly reveals itself from within. As I'm finishing the last few cuts inside the bowl, I like to slow down a little and just enjoy this moment. This is where everything comes together, the shape, the balance, the thin walls, every detail has to feel right. The wood almost speaks to you if you listen closely. It tells you how deep to cut, when to ease the pressure, when to stop. That's what I love most about wood turning. It's not just a craft, it's a quiet conversation between you and the material. I really enjoy sharing these moments with you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you prefer bowls with thin, elegant walls like this one, or ones that feel heavier and more solid in the hand? Let me know down in the comments. I'm always curious what you think. Every piece of wood has its own character and its own story, and turning Rhus wood is something truly special. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching and spending some time here with me in the workshop. The inside is now almost done, the walls are thin, the curve feels perfect and the surface is smooth. After making the final light cuts on the bottom of the bowl with the scraper, I noticed that this darker section of the wood feels a little softer than the rest. That's something quite common with Rhus wood. The contrast between the hard and soft areas can be really strong. To make sure the bottom stays firm and stable over time, I'm applying a bit of thin cyanoacrylate glue, also known as CA glue. It soaks deep into the fibers and strengthens the wood from within, giving it a solid feel without changing the look. Once the glue is applied, I spray a small amount of activator to cure it instantly. It hardens right away and leaves the surface perfectly sealed for the next steps. These little details might not be visible in the final piece, but they make a big difference in the long run, especially when you want your work to last for many years. It's a small extra step, but one that separates a simple turned bowl from a truly finished piece of craftsmanship. Now it's time to sand the inside of the bowl. I start with a lower grit and slowly move up to 400, taking my time to make the surface perfectly smooth. With every pass, the grain becomes clearer and the contrast between the golden and darker tones stands out even more. The wood feels silky to the touch, now clean, even, and ready for the best part. Next, I'll apply the finish, and that's when this Rhus wood will truly come to life. As soon as the oil touches the wood, the transformation begins. The yellow and brown tones in this Rhus wood come alive, the grain glows, and the whole surface takes on a warm golden radiance. It's like the wood finally shows its true character after patiently waiting through every step of the process. I apply the finish slowly and evenly, making sure every curve and edge is treated with care. This part is one of my favorites, quiet, focused, and deeply satisfying. The scent of the oil, the soft reflection of light on the surface, the way the texture changes under your fingers, it's the perfect ending to hours of careful work. What I love most about this finish is that it stays true to the material. The surface feels natural, not too glossy, not too matte, just honest and warm, exactly the way wood should look and feel. Every time I use this blend, I'm reminded why I love working with natural finishes. They respect the wood, they don't try to cover it up, but rather let it speak for itself. And with this bowl, made from such a rare and beautiful piece of Rhus wood, that natural character truly shines through. It's always rewarding to see how something so simple, a piece of wood, a bit of patience, and a few drops of oil and wax can turn into something so alive. I hope you've enjoyed watching this process as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Now I'm finishing the bottom part of the bowl. To make it just a little more special, I like to add a small detail here, something subtle, but enough to make the piece truly unique from every angle. Even the base deserves attention, because when someone picks up the bowl, that's often the first thing they notice: how it feels in the hand, how balanced it is, and how much care went into every part of it. With the final cuts complete, The shape feels perfect, smooth, light, and flowing naturally from top to bottom. With the final shaping done, I sand the bottom carefully to make it perfectly smooth and consistent with the rest of the surface. Once it's ready, I apply our own PipejaWood finish, a blend of pure tung oil and natural carnauba wax. This finish brings out the wood's true color while keeping its natural look and texture. It gives protection without darkening or adding too much gloss. The moment the finish touches the surface, the wood starts to glow. The golden and amber tones of the Rhus wood become deeper and warmer, and the grain looks almost three-dimensional. It's a small area, but it's an important one because it completes the whole piece and ties everything together. Now that the base is done, I move to the final step, applying a bit of mineral oil to the bark. It protects the natural edge and slightly enriches its tone, keeping that raw organic look that makes this bowl so unique. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with me. I really appreciate everyone who follows, comments, and supports our work. If you'd like to own a piece like this, you can visit our website at PipejaWood.com, where every item is made with the same care and passion you've just seen. Until next time, take care, stay creative, and keep turning.